Hi everyone, welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. Welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. My name is Gina Pike. I'm so very happy that you're here with me today. Today we're going to be doing the final Miss May update that we will be doing before we do the final reveal of all of the shawls that people have submitted to me who are participating in the Miss May Make Along with Me. I know that this is a mystery shawl knit along that was hosted by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. And I offered to you guys, if you guys wanted to make this along with me as a side make along, that we would do this, and I would share your projects here on my channel. I have had 4 or 5 different videos. I've had a stitch tutorial. All the videos associated with this Miss May project are linked down in the description box below. The stitch tutorial goes through all of the stitches and how to do the cast on. If you're interested in making this shawl, this is the Miss May shawl to celebrate May Morris, who is one of the leaders of the arts and crafts movements. The pattern is written by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. There were about 900 people that participated in this in Ravelry. For the people here, there are about 40, little over 40 people that are knitting this with me here. What's going to happen is on August the 27th, I'm going to be doing a live show. Some of the people who knitted this will be coming up on a panel. We'll be discussing knitting it. We'll be showing the slideshow of all of the finished shawls that I have. And if some people aren't finished, that's totally fine. They're still entered in my giveaway, but I'll just show their shawls up to whatever point they're at. We're going to celebrate everybody who knitted this shawl with me and the things that they learned. And there will be prizes for the people who participated in this knit make along with me. I'm going to be giving away 3 prizes and the people who are participated with me are the ones who are entered in this giveaway. That will be Saturday, August the 27th, 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time if you'd like to come. Then the slideshow for the shawls will be a standalone video. So if you just want to watch the shawls and see the different projects that were made, it'll be easier to find instead of having to look for it in a live show, which may end up being an hour or a little bit longer. So today, this is an update. We have talked about clue 5 a little bit. That was the last clue. There were 5 clues, which basically, if you're not sure what a clue is, when you do a mystery knit along, the designer will break apart the pattern into different sections and send out a new section each week, a clue. So you get just a portion of the pattern every week. There were 5 of those. We've already talked about all 5 of them. I'm going to be showing you my 2 finished shawls today. And I'm going to be showing you all of the updates I've received so far from the people who are participating through clue 4. I'm saving everybody else's finished shawls for the final reveal on August the 27th. So that'll be a surprise for you guys. But I do have quite a few updates here today. I have 12 people with updates here today that are going to be sharing. So that will be after I show mine and talk through some tips, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's get into it. I finished my shawl, and then I started a second shawl, and I finished the second shawl, and I want to show you these because I want to encourage you to maybe try a different ending if you want to. So here's my first shawl. This is a 4-color shawl. It is color blocked so that each section has a different color. Here's what it looks like. Clue 5 of this was this last blue section here. You can see it's very simple knitting. I used these yarns, or it's a yarn kit from Amanda Hope Yarn. I will put a link to her shop down below, but this was Aruba, Vichyssoise, Rose Gold, and Limoncello and her Aussie Superwash Merino but yarn base. Again, this was clue 5. Very simple knitting, just bringing in more of the texture and the lines, and then she finishes it off with a super stretchy bind off. I actually did an I-cord bind off on mine because I thought with having this I-cord along, we did an I-cord cast on and we had an I-cord all the way along the edge. I thought it looked kind of nice just to see how it ends here, to continue the I-cord along this bottom. I did do a tutorial for an I-cord bind off. I will link it up above and down below if you want to watch that. It's very, very simple on how to do that. And so when I blocked it, I just wanted to make it be nice and straight and clean, a clean line. And the shawl is really nice and big and turned out really pretty. This is blocked and just really love it. Isn't that pretty? Alright, so that's my first shawl, and that's a 4-color shawl. And again, that's kind of what she recommended, and there were quite a few people who did gradients and who did 1-color shawls, and they look really amazing as well. You will be seeing some of that in some of the updates, for my second shawl, I decided to do a gradient because they look so amazing, and also I had this gorgeous gradient. I used a gradient from Hobie. This is Hobie Twister glitter yarn. Now Twister is a blend of cotton, 55% cotton and 45% polyester. I've never knitted a shawl out of cotton acrylic yarn before, so I was a little bit nervous about the blocking, because acrylic doesn't hold the block too well. I wet blocked my shawl after it was finished, and I ended up having to steam block it twice. I just have this, I didn't want to pull out my iron. You could do it with an iron, but I ended up using just a closed steamer that I have, a little handheld steamer, and I did it twice over my shawl, and it took. So with it pinned out, I steamed it. So I think I did okay. It's holding the block really well. And again, this is my shawl, my gradient, and I ended up, I'm going to show you what I did with clue 5, but you can see all the clues, bringing in all the colors. This color is color 41 Cabaret of the Hobie Twister glitter yarn. You can see it starts with a blue, kind of goes to a blue green, to a mint, kind of a mini green, to a pink, and then ending with a purple. And you can kind of see the glitter a little bit. It's not that easy to see, but if I get close, maybe you can see it a little bit in the yarn. And I think it's more obvious when the yarn's a little bit darker, but you can see it a little bit here and there. But when you get down to the bottom, the darker yarns makes it a little bit easier to see the glitter in it. Now for the clue 5, you can see my endings a lot different than the other one, and I want to talk about that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go ahead and show my shawl, because if you are knitting this along with me, or if you're maybe just knitting this and watching this video, this is something you could do to change it up. The first version, the way the pattern's written, it's just this simple border, ending it with super stretchy bind off, make it kind of straight. I wanted to do a lacy edge since we have done all this beautiful lace, and I was trying to figure out how to do it, and then I saw Wendy Cutler. She's a test knitter, also participating in this make along. I saw her notes, and what she did was she took the Stillness shawl, which is one of Helen Stewart's mystery shawl knit alongs from a couple years ago. It's actually the shawl. I knitted it 2 years ago before I started my YouTube channel. It is the last shawl in my intro video, the pink one. I ended up giving that to Doris of Rose Cottage Studio. But what I did, she took the clue 5 of the Stillness shawl and changed it and just used that for her clue 5 for this shawl, for the Miss May. And it worked out well because the repeats that you had, these little sections where the lines come, were 10 stitches long, and the repeats in I'm sorry, these were 20 stitches, and the repeats for the stillness shawl were 10. So you could do 2 of those in the span of the stitch repeats for this shawl. So it worked out, and for the math, that it worked out well. I kind of had to fudge the beginning of it to make it work. I think I added a stitch here and a stitch there. What I did was a little bit different from Wendy's. Is I ended up doing the first 8 rows of Clue 5 for Miss May. So you can see how I just kind of transitioned with those lines right there. Those are the first 8 rows. This section right here. And then I started doing the Clue 5 of Stillness Shawl to bring in that lacy aspect. And I believe it's as written, it's 16 rows, and I did 30 rows of this lace section because I wanted to bring in, I had this color, and I wanted to bring in the purple color here to finish it out. So I extended that for 30. I made that section be 30 rows long instead of 16 rows so that I could bring that purple color in. And I think I forced that a little bit too. I cut some of the pink out, I believe. I started with a 250 gram skein. That cake is 250 grams, and I ended up with 33 grams of that yarn left. So that's why this one is a little bit bigger than the other one. It turned out to be a really nice, beautiful, big shawl with that the extra long clue at the bottom. Because I added, that was, if it was 8 rows, I believe the rest of that clue was another 8 rows, so like 16, 20 rows are the original Clue 5. I did 8 rows of that, and then I added 30 rows of the next Clue 5. So that's like a 38 row section for Clue 5 instead of 16. So that made that section extra long and lacy. Alright, so that's an option for you to do. I mean, if you already have if you already have the Stillness Shawl, otherwise you could just play around with the stitch pattern. It is just making sure that the lines line up, which I really am glad that they did. That's what I thought would be really pretty, is to make sure everything lines up, and it did. But bringing in some of that nice lace. And then for blocking, I just I did the super stretching bind off at the bottom, that was originally recommended. It was recommended for this shawl, Miss May, and for Stillness, so I could pull those points where the lacy parts were, like that. And I like how it came out. It gives me 2 different looking shawls. They look similar to a point, but then the end is a lot different. So that is something that you might could do, and I thank you, Wendy, for sharing your notes with us on that. And I'm glad I saw that, because I was going to try to figure out how I could do it myself, and then I saw that and I'm like, well, I already have that pattern, so that works very well. So there you go. There's my Miss May updates, and now I'm ready to get into sharing all those who are making this along with me up through their Clue 4. And then I'll be sharing again their finished shawl on August the 27th, and I'm really excited to do that. There's so many beautiful shawls. A lot of people have already finished, so that's why I only have 12 or 13 people here today to share, because a lot of people have already finished, and they've kind of kept up, so you've seen all of their updates so far. So here we go. Let's get caught up. The first person I have to share with us today is Debbie Perea. This is her Clue 4. Debbie, again, is using Yarn Bee, Idyllic Yarn in Orangeology, and this is such a gorgeous one-color shawl. We've all been drooling over it as we've been seeing the updates. It just turned out so nice and lets the pattern shine. So thank you, Debbie, for sharing that with us. It's gorgeous. The next person to share with us is Debbie Hammer, who is Debbie Loves Yarn. She started a couple of times, and she was not liking the yarns that she had. So she bought these yarns in like a teal kind of gradient setting. It's really beautiful. It's going to make a really beautiful shawl. And here is her clue 1 restart. Isn't that looking beautiful? I love the colors. I think these are going to be almost like a fade. Really, really pretty. And I love how this is looking. So thank you for doing that and sharing that. And don't, there are other people that are still where you are. There's actually still enough time to start knitting the shawl and finish it by August the 27th, because it's just the beginning of August. There's almost the whole month of August still left to finish this, so don't feel like you don't have time to finish. You certainly do. And thank you, Debbie, for sharing that with us. It's beautiful. The next person to share with us is Diana Emmick. This is her clue 4. Diana has been sharing her shawl as we go along, and she has this beautiful gray and orchid and navy, and then the variegated yarn that has all of the colors in it, and it just looks really, really beautiful. And thank you so much, Diana, for sharing that with us. The next person to share with us is Dimitra Tzamtzis. Now, Dimitra has already finished her first shawl, and I've shown that through clue 4. Now, this is the start of her second shawl, and a beautiful bright yellow lace yarn. And she got this yarn, she said, in an estate sale, and has been trying to figure out what project to use this for. She did a color block shawl and well, an Advent fade set, and now she wants to do a single color shawl in this bright yellow, and it's so pretty. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Dimitra. The next person to share with us is Jane Daniel. Now, Jane is doing a color block shawl. She is doing a 4-color shawl here in a beautiful gray green, and then it's this beautiful hot pink. And I'm anxious to see what her 4th color is, but this is really, really beautiful. Looking great, Jane. I love it. I love that extra pop of bright color. It's really pretty. So thank you for sharing with us. The next person to share with us is Katia Hernandez, who is Katie Bear. She knitted a color block shawl, a 4-color shawl, and decided she wanted to knit a 1-color shawl. This is her clue 1 for her second shawl in this beautiful Kelly green color. And she said that she is making this for her sister, who is a high school principal, whose school colors are Kelly green and black. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. Love it. I love the 1-color shawls. The next person to share with us is Mary Haen. Mary Haen is using a Hobie Salt and Shadows yarn. It's been this bright yellow, and the shadows yarn ends with a black. So we're getting to that part where the gradient is the black gradient's coming in. You can see how it's marled for a section. This is her clue 4, and now it's getting to the black to finish it up, and it looks great. Yellow and black look really great together. And thank you for sharing that with us, Mary. It looks beautiful. Look at that cute little gnome she's got there. That's so cute. Her little helper. The next person to share with us is Melanie Titus. This is her clue 1 and part of her clue 2. She's using a Hobie Twister yarn in color 18. She loves greens, and it's starting to get more. It was a pale green, starting to get into the darker greens. It was looking beautiful. This shawl in a gradient looks really nice as well as a single color, and as it does in a single color. So it's beautiful. The next one is my shawl, includes 2, 3, and 4, which I just showed you the finished shawl, but you can see how it progressed as it was going. The next person to share with us, this shawl is from Susan Fortner. This is her clue 4. These are beautiful. I love the bold, rich colors that you use for this. They look great, and I'm loving I'm loving the lacy leaves and how they look, and that you have a great stitch definition. Looks really great, and she'll be finishing that up and on clue 5. So that's great. Thank you so much, Susan. It looks great, and I can't wait to see that blue on the very edge. The next person to share with us is Tiffany, who is Yarn Moods here on YouTube. She is sharing her shawl here, clues 3 and 4. Now she is using a wool-like loops and thread yarn in white, and then she's adding a strip of gray. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice for some variation? Looks really pretty. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for sharing your clues with us. Looks really, really nice. Okay, now I'm going to have a little bit of a hidden giveaway as a thank you for being here and watching this video. This is a little bit longer. I have for you today a skein of yarn. This is Yarn Art Rose Garden. Rose Garden is 100% cotton. It is 1,000 meters, 1093 yards. It's a little bit hard to see, I know, because of the plastic, but I don't like to open these things when I'm giving stuff away. But this is color number 312. If you're interested in going shopping, this is green to a pink to a lavender. Looks like a field of flowers to me, spring flowers. So the word I'm going to ask you guys to put down in the comment below is flowers, and make sure you put S, flowers. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will pick a winner on the 13th of August. I have stuff to pick for winners for my 2-year celebration, so I'll just add this to that that date to pick a winner. I believe that'll give you guys a week to watch this video and put comments in. Thank you guys so much for being here, for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this update from Miss May. I have. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it, seeing everybody's pictures of their shawls coming in and hearing about how much they love this shawl pattern and how they have enjoyed knitting this. And that's what we're going to be talking about on August the 27th. So I hope you'll show up. Again, you'll be able to see all the finished projects then, or up to where people are by then. So and that'll be a little bit like 3.5 more weeks, so there should be a lot more done, and it'll be fun. So I hope you'll join us. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you all very, very soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.